Welcome back, guys. Yeah, I'll tell you what, this is actually the third part of a series that I've been putting out on videos of scrapes. Different ways of looking at them, which ones are more important than others, how to hunt them. This last one, this short video, really brings out the proof of what is actually going on the longevity of how long they actually utilize the scrapes. The reason I'm doing this, I don't care who you are or what you watch, I've had it up to here, man, with some of these expert killers that are saying after Halloween, well, get off the scrapes, they're going to dry up and they're going to go off, they're going to be in a chase phase, and you're going to have to do a different strategy altogether. Living up here in the North Woods, I predominantly, you know yourself by now, the amount I've been preaching is the fact that I utilize scrapes all the time because it is their communication. I say that time and time again, and they will check back and forth, back and forth. I have pictures that I'm going to show you. This is proof. This is actual fact proof of what goes on these scrapes to prove otherwise of what you're hearing out there on some of these YouTube channels. I'm just trying to help you guys to decipher what is the truth and what isn't. This business of them ending on the Halloween, maybe run into a couple days after, and that's it. They go on chase phase, forget it. You got to move on. When you're up in big woods scenario, you don't have much to work on. So you better look for these scrapes and what to do with them and how long you can work with them. Now, what I'm going to do, I've done a documentary. Actually, I started filming these about 5 years ago because it bothered me about 6-8 years ago. I'm like, what's going on with these people? I mean, I'm shooting bucks second week of November, whatever it may be, on scrapes. So at that time, I started putting up a few cameras in different areas. I skipped a year. I don't know when it was, 22, I think. But the point is, I'm finally bringing all those out. I'm going to show you the truth on how long they work on these scrapes to give you a little more confidence that it isn't over, guys. It's a long season yet. You just continually go on them. Now, the thing you want to notice, the cool part about these pictures I'm going to show you throughout the years, they're daytime. That's the cool part. One of the main points. After a certain point, after the first week of November, they start coming out more and more during the daytime. And you're going to see that. Now, what I did, I put little dots around where their scrape was. Now, keep watching these pictures as they develop through time. They get less and less aggressive on what to do with the scrape itself. They really do. But yet they are there because does will come there. The bucks will come there. They still check back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with 2020. Watch this, watch these pictures, and that begins it out. Okay, and you're going to be shocked with what you see. Okay, here we go. Now, as you can see, it starts basically on the 6th of November. They started hitting this one area, this one scrape. Then it continued right along, and as you can see, it snowed a little bit. And on the 12th, once again, there they were, hitting it a little more. And then on the 16th, they were still hitting it, and actually, they opened it up a little more, like there's a little more activity going on. And then it moved along, and look at November 20th, still going along, checking it. Then the best part, on the 21st, that was opening gun season here in Wisconsin, at 11 o'clock in the morning, that nice buck was still checking that scrape. Can you believe it? On the 21st of November, still hitting it. So all in all, if you take a look at 2020, that wasn't a bad year that they continued just like I said. Now, let's move along, okay? Let's go into 21. Well, did you like 2020? That's just some of the proof. I got a couple more years we're just going to step through quickly. Now I go to 2021. Different areas. And I tell you what, we're going to start out, I believe, on the 10th. And that big zoomer, boy, he was a big one. That's going to be interesting about him. And I'll tell you the story as you're watching them. So I believe we go from the 10th until about the 13th or so. That's the footage that I had, but it continued on after many, many pictures. But I'm just showing you a few of those, okay, guys? So take a look at these in 21. Okay, now, here as you can see, on the 10th, this big guy came along at this area. He hit this scrape, believe this or not, every 3 freaking hours.
between 9 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. He was constantly back and forth checking that scrape to see if any does checked in the area. Then as we move along, I'll show you on the 13th, here's another scrape. Now this guy in the afternoon, he came about 3 o'clock or so, he came and checked this area open and opened it up. Then between the 13th and the 15th, a little snow fell, and all of a sudden, what do you think? 9 o'clock the next morning, here comes a buck, he opens up the scrape. And there again, that activity continued, but I just wanted to show you a couple there. Okay, so that's that year itself. Now what we're going to do, we're going to move on to 23, where I had some does that were working scrapes over that people just can't believe. And I mean working it over, active, the whole 9 yards, and later on. But I'm just going to show you one picture of one, just to give you an idea and actual proof that these things do happen, okay? Let's move on.
How's that? Some more proof. Going right along here now. I'm going to show you a quickie on 23. This had several does on this scrape for some reason. I just picked out one just to show you how aggressive. This doe was super aggressive. He showed me several pictures on this date in 23 over a scrape. Take a look at this.
You know, as you can see, this doe was quite active. And this is November 23rd. She may have gone in heat the second time around, not sure. But she'll wait there. She'll put in some time there, and possibly a buck will come back and check the scrape. Maybe they will breed. We don't know. But this is what can happen. And when you find a breeding scrape like this, there again, look at on the 23rd, this late in the season, definitely huntable, because these bucks are still roaming around looking for these does that are going back in heat. Well, okay, tell you what, we're going to move on to 2024, last year. And I'll show you some interesting mock scrapes that I made and the results of that also. And that'll be it, guys, okay? So we're going to enter on to 2024. Stay tuned.
Now, last but not least, we get to 2024. There were some interesting ones that took place there. Now, what I did there last year, I did a bunch of sampling with my mock scrapes with my licking branches. And fortunately, many of them just took off. And these bucks up here in the big woods were just looking for something like this. And look at how long they continued on checking some of these. Okay?
Okay, now as you can see, last year in 2024, I started with these pictures now on the 8th of November. And as you can see, this buck, he was coming in the morning, just coming back, checking my licking branch. That turned out to be a pretty good community scrape. And I believe they were breeding on that scrape area too. And he continued, he opened up that scrape and he stayed there for quite a while. But if you notice on all these pictures, guys, like I said, it's all daytime, evening, daytime, early morning, whatever it may be. Then we jumped ahead, we went to the 10th. And on the 10th, this guy, he came around towards the evening. What he was doing, he had his own scrape. But he was so active, he was coming almost every day after like the, oh gosh, around the 8th or so. And then he continued on throughout that time for, geez, another week or so. He was really hot up in that area. He came up on top of a hill. He had a nice scrape right up there. Then we moved on. We went to the 13th. Well, this guy, he showed up in the evening. There again, he was checking everything that I had, licking branches, all my scrapes itself. And he was pretty hot because I could tell he was making the rounds, and he'd come back and check that licking branch again. So there must have been some does hanging around there. But look at the dates always. 13th, he was making rounds, making rounds. Then last but not least, out of all of these, on the 20th, he came, that big brute. Boy, he was a big slob. He came around checked my licking branch, but he was still working evenings. He didn't quite show himself during the daytime yet. Maybe he might have before that, but he's still making rounds and checking these scrapes on the 20th, meaning they always come back, guys. Okay? That's it on my pictures. So hang on, we're going to close up with something.
I hope you enjoyed that little bit there. So all I wanted to point out, pictures don't lie. I'll be honest with you. I could say anything I want, but without pictures, what do I got for facts? The point is, that's all I want to make, guys, is the fact that these scrapes continue on. And then go many, I have them going into January on things like this. If you have a problem out there where to hunt yet, you don't know where to go, still have faith in some of your scrapes. Now, granted, they're not going to be there as religious as they were, but they still come back and check periodically. If another doe after 28 days comes in heat, they still check back because the does know to come back to those scrapes because that's where they meet. This is like a meeting place, focal point of communication. I keep saying it's out there in those scrapes, and I can't harp enough on it, and I probably never will. But this is the 3-part series that I had on scrapes, and I hope you enjoy it. Now it's getting pretty good. Let's go back out in the woods pretty soon, okay? Hey, take care.